Kristen, Kyle, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for having us. Come on. Just wrapping up our trip, 3 days. And the big takeaway here is I never travel any place just to see one person. So when you sales guys are out there traveling, you need to then try and find 1 or 2 or 3 other people to see. The commodity manager of Electrolux wanted me to text her. That was her preferred method of contact. She was getting 200 emails a day. She said, just text me. This was 5 years ago. I'm like, okay. Literally could get her every time.
What's up, guys? Kyle Milan here with Manufacturing Tribe TV. Today we're at MD&M Minneapolis show.
You're always going to remember that person that was different than everybody else. So let's talk standing out and being unique.
We're back with another episode. We've increased some of our production value, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. Brett's got a question. How segmented do you make the emails every 2 to 4 weeks? Are you sending to the broad group of contacts or do you customize? I think that you could do it both ways, but I think in general, everybody needs to see your content. Everybody needs to see something that you're creating and something that you can provide value to.
You can tell a story a whole lot faster in a 3-minute video than you can in a 14-page article or 10 2-page articles.
Everything's about brand awareness and content right now, and it will continue to be that. So focus on producing some sort of content, and if you're selling B2B, which I'm assuming most people here are, focus on LinkedIn.
Number one, we do not charge for this stuff. I put all of my content out there for free. Send it to somebody that you feel may get some value out of it, and also engage. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. We'll get to all of the comments after the break. Those comments mean the world to us because it shows that you guys care. So don't just sit there and watch, but please engage and hit those thumbs on LinkedIn.
If you're an industrial or manufacturing company looking for a marketing partner that actually understands your business, then you found your match. For over 6 years, MFG Tribe has been working with companies just like yours to dominate in their industry by executing tactics that actually work today. No longer do you have to spend hours explaining what it is that your services or products do to people that just don't understand and don't know the first thing about how to sell or market to your industry. With over 40 years of industrial experience, our clients get the peace of mind that we not only understand their business, but how to reach their target customers. Our strategic approach of industrial marketing combines the tactics of website, SEO, content marketing with articles and videos, a strategic social approach on LinkedIn, and utilizing hyper-focused PPC and advertising campaigns. We create over 400 videos and over 350 articles each year for some of the top industrial brands and manufacturing services companies. Don't wait for customers to find you. Partner with MFG Tribe and begin dominating your industry today. What is up, guys? I'm Kyle Milan. It is Monday, February 7th, and we are live today to talk not only about industrial marketing and manufacturing companies, but today's episode, we have a special guest who we will be bringing in a minute. So if you guys are struggling in the manufacturing and industrial sectors with getting employees on the floor, filling those job vacancies, the market has seen a huge shift over the last 2 years, and a lot of companies are looking for employees and can't seem to find them. Then on this episode, we bring in Patrick O'Reilly from Factory Fix to talk about how he's been solving the problem for the last few years. So guys, as always, leave comments in the comment section with our special guest. We will be answering all those that we can go through. I'm hoping this is going to end up being a longer show and that you guys engage, because the content that Patrick's about to tell you guys about how he's doing things and how they've been solving this problem, or at least attempting to solve it and working with companies, is going to hopefully inspire you guys to ask questions and get them answered from him directly. So since this is the first guest that we brought on the show, this is something that we will be doing in the future, where we bring in experts in their field to answer and talk about solving some of the most relevant problems that are happening in the industrial manufacturing sector today. So that way they get a chance to share the knowledge that they have on how they're doing things, and you guys get a chance to speak with them directly. So we're going to bring Patrick into the feed and let him talk a little bit about what he's doing. Nick, you want to throw him in there? There we go. Patrick, how's it going, man?
Hey, Kyle. Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, no problem. So, Patrick, tell me and tell the audience, what is it that you guys do over there at Factory Fix?
Yeah, so Factory Fix is really the first recruiting platform dedicated to the manufacturing industry. And it's unique in that we're really trying to help with the three major problems that we see in the manufacturing recruiting world today. The first being the labor shortage, right, which isn't unique to manufacturing, but is definitely problematic. The second is the skills gap with the retiring workforce, which is more unique to manufacturing. And the third is just the overall responsiveness and the candidate ghosting problem, which, I think recently has just been maybe the most frustrating issue for a lot of our clients. So we're just trying to build a technical, online platform to help with those unique challenges.
Yeah, so talking about that, there's like recruiters that recruit only for specific industries, right? But that's more high level stuff where they're dealing with higher paying jobs. But what you guys are focusing on, is there a specific niche in that, or are you guys tackling all positions at an industrial company?
Yeah, so it's really across the board, everything from, like general laborers or machine operator positions, lower skilled positions, up to, mechanical engineers, robot programmers, some of the more skilled positions, even management positions like, plant managers or operations managers. We're helping across the board, but I think the value prop that we provide differs based on the position you're needing, right? For the lower skilled position, it's much more about volume and streamlining your hiring process, and just making that as efficient as possible and getting you more candidates, wider reach and everything. But for the higher end, I'd say the value prop that we provide our customers is really around skills matching and vetting. But either way, we have customers that use us both ways, and hiring needs fluctuate as we know. So our goal is to really just be that turnkey solution for whatever manufacturing companies need.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit more, because like we've got clients on our side that they're looking for 50, 40, 60 people that are on the floor workers, right? Like there's other recruiting companies that say that they can bring in, high level people, sales, marketing, CFOs and stuff. But it seems like from our standpoint that the gap is so massive with how do you get machinists and programmers and things like that to know about your company, apply for the position. And so that's something that you guys are trying to fill, or are currently filling that void out there for it.
Yeah, so there's a couple things going on, right? Like we're trying to help with the short-term need, which is making sure your jobs cast the widest net and are all over the internet to drive as many applications as possible with people that are currently in the job market, right? So just making that whole process as efficient as possible is what we can help with today. But our company, we're venture capital backed, and we're really invested in this to play the long game and work on solutions that, or work on problems that aren't going to get solved today, but, require more time. And that is, how do we get young people into the manufacturing industry, right? How do we just, kind of rebrand the industry as a whole so that people are excited about coming in? It can be a viable alternative for some people instead of going to a 4-year university. And we need to raise awareness that this actually can be a lucrative career path. And so I think we can help fill that gap and be part of that rebranding effort.
Yeah, so let's talk about because you guys have been around for what? I think 4 or 5 years you guys have been since you first got started, roughly.
Yeah, it started as a side project about 5 years ago when I had my last company, which, we built robotic automation systems for manufacturing companies. And, And so we ourselves were, a specialized type of manufacturer. And so, I felt the pain, I lived it firsthand, and trying to build this platform out with that experience in mind.
Yeah, so you're from the industry, you know exactly being in their shoes, right? You know what that pain feels like.
Yeah, I mean, totally. It's not an easy challenge. I mean, there's just so many macroeconomic factors going on, microeconomic factors. You have, government mitigation efforts with COVID causing all sort of secondary and third degree effects that's affecting the labor market. You have unprecedented competition from not only other manufacturers, but the Amazons of the world, the Chipotles of the world, DoorDash, Uber, the whole gig economy stuff. So it's really been a perfect storm for the labor market right now, and it's about as crazy as I've ever seen it. So like I said, there's short-term things we can do to help, but we're also in it to play the long game and improve this over time.
Yeah, so you guys are there looking to partner with companies to, like you said, solve that short-term issue, which I'd say probably 75% of our marketing clients are having those issues. And then also be that long-term solution to try and, I guess, circumvent and make sure that this issue doesn't happen again in the future, right? Because you can only prepare for so much, but like COVID threw everybody for a loop. And then at least down here in Texas, we saw that once we stopped accepting the federal unemployment tax benefit, the extra money that they were throwing, once we kicked that out, we saw a little bit of an increase. Do you feel like that's impacting things still, or did last year at all?
Yeah, I mean, certainly those are starting to wind down, but that was maybe the biggest issue, at least when you look at last year. The industry was booming, right? So that's part of the perfect storm too, where everyone was busy, everyone needed to get, parts out the door. But then the government coming in and, essentially subsidizing people to stay home really hurt. I mean, it really hurt, and you see it more in certain states. But then also, manufacturing is an aging workforce, and I think COVID was a catalyst that brought on this wave of retirements when people were, might have otherwise stuck it out a couple more years, said, like, I'm done. Work's kind of weird right now, and some cases I have to wear a mask 12 hours a day. So, it's not even worth it. Like, I'll just end this now. So yeah, it's been crazy. There's no doubt about it. And, hopefully things are normalizing now. But this problem isn't going to go away, right? Like, it was a problem before COVID, and COVID exacerbated it. So now we just kind of have to normalize and chip away.
Yeah, totally. So walk me through a process. Let's say that we were looking to engage with you guys. What is a typical process that you guys go through? Is there like 5 steps of assessing what their needs are and then going through? What does it look like once somebody starts engaging with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, so we try to make it as easy as possible to engage with us. And usually we have one meeting. We talk about what you're doing today, if you're spending on job boards or staffing agencies or headhunters, or if you're doing job fairs or, that sort of thing. And then we talk about, goals, whether it's to just get more applications and drive that, get more traffic, or if it's really more about saving time and vetting and making sure that your company is only dealing with candidates that are interested in your job, that are qualified. And so once we determine that, we know we can provide, value both ways, but it enables us to kind of tailor our service more for that company's unique need. But from there, we just, we do free trials, right? So we want to prove that our platform can provide value before you sign up with a long-term engagement with us. We don't want there to be any ambiguity about how we work, or, is this really going to work for me? We want to prove that out, quickly ahead of time. And then from there, we really want it to be a partnership. I mean, our customer success team essentially embeds themselves and becomes part of our customers' talent teams, and are in there changing things, reviewing the talent pipeline on a weekly basis, and really just doing whatever we can to streamline the whole process and get your jobs filled.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like the perfect storm to create attention around a brand, right? And try and get people in. Like, you're not just trying to fill a single position, like, let me send your resumes to this person. You're taking everything from the beginning through the end, integrating with that company. I mean, that's really the partnership that I feel like the industrial manufacturing sector needs. I mean, when you and I talked like 4 or 5 years ago, I was like, dude, this is perfect. Like, this company that you've created is like, it's serving a need, because I think it was like 2 years ago, we did a show on YouTube where we were trying to, inspire people to get into the industrial area, because you can make an insane amount of money, but it's like these younger kids just want to go into software or do that gig economy type stuff. They're not really focused on working with their hands as much as it was like when you and I were kids and when our parents were kids. And so we were trying to bring attention around it, and it worked, but like, it's still, I feel like, would you agree that in industrial, everything is like multiple years behind the rest of the industries out there? Like, it's slower to adapt to things.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, like you said, we kind of have a lost generation there where people were pushed away from the manufacturing industry, and it, in some respect, was seen as a last resort, right? You certainly got pushed into going to college or going into, the tech industry or hospitality or something. But yeah, I think the industry needs a rebrand as a whole. And I feel like getting into manufacturing and learning one of these skills, like CNC machining or welding or even maintenance stuff, can be a path to career freedom. It can be a path to entrepreneurship. Because let's face it, there's more online platforms popping up every day. Companies like Xometry, right, where if you're a really good machinist, you can buy a machine, put it in your garage, and have endless jobs to run through the Xometry board or other jobs platforms like that. So I think pitching it more as a path to entrepreneurship, the same way you would pitch software development. If you learn to code, you don't ever have to worry about finding a job again, right? There's just endless demand for that. The same thing is going on right now with some of these skilled trades, and you can be ahead of the curve by learning these right out of the gate, and it's a great path to making some money.
Yeah, I mean, that brings up an amazing point. It is like, there's so many people that want to be entrepreneurs, right, and start their own thing, and platforms like that where it's like they're outsourcing jobs and things like that for startup companies, for inventors, whatever. Like, if it's learning machining, for example, my dad was a machinist. He retired after 30 years or so. Learning a skill like that, you can just buy a machine, throw it in your garage, and do that stuff on the side. And before you know it, you could have a machine shop. I feel like that's how a lot of companies 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and more got started, right, from the garage. I've heard so many stories. Started in the garage, and then now it's a massive company. But that still can be the place for people to start things if they have those skills, right? And so
totally.
And so that's where we're trying to do what we can to try and make manufacturing cool, right? Like, it's tough because most people are like you said, it's a last resort. Well, if you don't get into college, if you don't do this, then you could always work at that factory. And and push buttons or turn things. But it really is a cool, interesting industry as technology continues to evolve.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we're trying to raise awareness around different career paths that young people can go down once you get into the manufacturing industry, right? Your first job may be as a machine operator or some sort of apprentice. But look, it's not that far in the future where you learn a couple skills, you can be making 80, 90, 100,000 a year, especially with overtime and the demand that's going on right now. I think it's very possible. And the more we, raise awareness around this and show people like, look, you can go to university, you can go into debt and get that degree. But you better do it for a meaningful degree, right? You better get an engineering degree or something like that. Otherwise, you're put in a hole when this whole time you could learn one of these trades, work your way up, and make some serious money. I think there's like far too many communication, degrees out there. Not to throw not to throw shade at communication degrees, but degrees that people went into debt for, where there's no clear path to a lucrative career once you get them. So I think it's just something you got to keep pounding the table about, and I think maybe highlighting people that went through this and are doing really well in their careers will help too. So we're looking at all of that and doing whatever we can to tell that story.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to go down the path of the education because I'm super bullish against it. Like I'm 100% in agreement with you on what you said. The whole time Nick's pointing at himself saying he's got the communications degree and he's charging up all of our video stuff. But I mean, that's exactly it, right? Like how many times do you hear of kids getting a degree and then working something that has nothing to do with their degree? Whereas in the manufacturing industry, having that skilled, knowledge and skilled labor and things like that, like the sky's the limit as far as where you can go. You can start as that machine operator, like you said, become a machinist or some sort of programmer, take school at night, eventually maybe have your own business on the side. I mean, that's really what we're trying to do is make manufacturing cool again, like it was back in like the 60s, 70s. But it's tough when you're up against like the software stuff and everybody wants to work for the big companies and stuff like that. And so one thing we wanted to show, and guys, be sure to leave comments. And what we want to know from the people that are watching live right now is, are you guys seeing a similar issue? Are there things that you're doing to try and circumvent this issue and bring more awareness around your company? But real quick, we wanted to show a video we did for a client that what we're trying to do is show that it's cool. And this is like an advertisement for one of their job positions and multiple job positions they have open. But we just want to show one quick video and kind of get your take on it. Go for it, Nick. Yeah, so looking at something like that, Patrick, I mean, do you feel like creating more content like that could possibly bring some energy into grabbing the attention of these younger generations?
Yeah, I think videos like that are super cool. They highlight the real technology that folks at these companies are using every day, and also the parts that they create. And yeah, we need to be doing more of that, not only on a company level, but at an industry level, and showing, the different opportunities that exist throughout. Yeah, I mean, there's different challenges, right? So for that one specifically, showing the cool stuff that's going on at your company will definitely help people that are CNC machinists that want to make really cool parts like that. But it also helps for the next generation and the folks that know maybe I'm not there skill wise, but if that company's willing to train me, I'd love to get involved now and work up to the point where I can, use all that cool machinery and get there eventually.
Yeah, I mean that's what it comes down to, right? And I feel like a lot of companies we've talked to, they have those apprenticeship programs in place, right, to help like teach and educate and train and work with the new employees that maybe don't have the skill sets. But what it comes down to is like, how do you get attention from that group, right? You got to be creating some sort of content, putting it in front of the people in the right places, and then be part of movements where, whether it's associations that are bringing more awareness into the high schools and things like that. But I feel like ages, even out of high school, ages 18 to 30, like there's a massive gap of people that have the skills to be able to apply today, because they're just getting into it, because there wasn't really much awareness around manufacturing 10-15 years ago to like make it cool.
Yeah.
So what type of successes are you guys seeing with your clients? Like once somebody comes in and says, look, dude, I've got all these jobs that I have open, what type of success rate do you guys see once you start getting involved in the process?
Yeah, I mean, so it's a spectrum for sure, depending on, are we talking about a small and medium-sized company or, some of our larger companies, and we'll help them in different ways. And we truly do look at it like a partnership, to where we're helping, really drive that hiring process and streamline that. And videos like the one you showed are really awesome and help with one piece of the puzzle here, which is raise awareness, get those initial applications. But then there's a whole like funnel that happens after that, that we also try to help with, right? And what we see with some customers or prospects is that there's a lot of unnecessary friction in the hiring process, whether it takes them a couple days to reach out to applicants, or maybe there's one HR person and they have to go back and forth with a hiring manager to see if someone's a good fit before they're due another pre-screen and then schedule the interview. And so we're working with customers to just like remove all that friction, use our technology to really just streamline and make that as efficient as possible. And so success varies with our customers, I guess our customers' willingness to implement some of those things. And then we have larger customers too that have all this in place, that have talent acquisition teams, and they're just using us to find more people and drive more applicants to their jobs, which is totally fine. But I think our goal was to really build a turnkey solution rather than just build a tool that people can use to hire with.
Yeah, because you guys aren't, I mean, the technology that you guys have behind like Factory Fix, it's not like you guys are just some people in a back room making phone calls and emailing people. Talk to me about like the interface, because you guys have done some cool things around that, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we have 40 software engineers now that work for us that are really building out some cool technology on the platform side. And so what our technology does now is, one, it will match you to potential candidates that have skills and experience with the job you're looking for, like even down to the brand level. So if you're a company and you need a CNC machinist that has worked on Haas mills, we'll actually match you to people in our database that have that exact experience. And in addition to that, we're trying to cast the widest net as possible to really just drive as many applications as possible. And then beyond that, we've built a scoring algorithm that will actually vet every single applicant and actually send a series of text messages to get more clarity on a person's experience. And what that results in is us passing along to our customer candidates that are vetted, are a good fit skills wise, and are actually responsive and already engaged in a conversation about your specific job. So if you go back to the problems we're solving at a high level, it's the labor shortage, trying to get more people into the industry, the skills gap, trying to find you people with specific skills and experiences. And then third is helping to solve with that responsiveness issue. So we're trying to build our technology out to really hammer all three of those.
Yeah, I mean, that's where, I think people really need to wrap their head around that, right? It's not, you guys aren't just I don't want to say it lightly, but a recruiting company, right? You're not only doing the recruiting the traditional way of doing it. I mean, you have software engineers, you have proprietary software you've created to help bridge that gap of speed and the resources that have to go into it. I mean, that's some cool stuff that hasn't been done before that I feel is really needed, because the traditional recruiter is doing it through a database like a recruiting database, or using LinkedIn databases or spreadsheets and things like that to go through and find those potential candidates. And what you're saying is the software you guys have created internally just speeds that up like 10x type of thing.
Yeah, totally. And recruiters have their place, right? Like there are super specialized positions where, headhunters would do a good job of, calling your competitors and maybe trying to find someone to switch to your team. That's fine. But, the way they charge is you're paying them a % of the annual salary, which obviously is really expensive. So you wouldn't use a recruiter for all of your hiring as a company across the board. But with us, our model is different. We're much more of like the job board SaaS model, where you're paying us a subscription, and you can hire as many people as you want for that subscription. We're just a monthly fixed cost that doesn't change based on the number of hires. So with that, we feel like that becomes more predictable, and you can use us as your primary channel for all your hiring, and it scales nicely.
Yeah, that's definitely awesome. I love that model. I think that's where the industry really needed to go to, right? Like you guys solved a massive problem of the need, right? So now it's just getting as many people as you can into your funnel so they understand what Factory Fix is. How are you guys different? What do you guys do? Where can people learn more information about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, go to our website. That's the best place, factoryfix.com. There's a form on there. It'll tell you about what we do for employers. You could also see the worker side and what we're doing to truly build the best job seeking experience out there, which is how we build our talent database. But yeah, go to our website. Could also shoot me an email, patrick@factoryfix.com. I'm on LinkedIn too. So however you want to reach out, be happy to talk to you.
All right. So guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we're going to come back, but wanted to make sure you guys leave comments in the comment section if you have any questions for Patrick, or if you just want to share something that you guys went through a similar issue, how you solved it, or anything that you guys are currently facing. So we'll be right back in about 2 minutes. Dream job for a sales engineer, I break it down into two main areas: opportunity and support. I mean, some people want to have the entire country or entire region under their belt to be able to travel and do all that stuff. Whereas other people, if they've got family and kids and they don't want to travel as much, then maybe the opportunity for them is working remote, not going into the office every day. And the second thing is going to be support. One of the most golden handcuffs for anybody in technical sales, they get brought in as a hunter. So they're hired like, I need you to hunt for business. I want you to grow my company, grow my region, whatever it is, right? They land the new business, they bring it in. And because you don't have the support team in place, you have now just put on the golden handcuffs onto a salesperson, which is you did your job, you're getting paid for that job. But now I need you to actually handle that, which is going to take you away from hunting for more business. I would say the best CRM for you to use would be HubSpot. And I'm not saying that because we are a partner with them. I'm saying that because I've used almost every single type of CRM out there. What it comes down to at the end of the day is what are your people actually going to use? You can have the best CRM system, but if they don't use it, it doesn't matter. I mean, HubSpot's cheap. You can get into it for $50 a month. And it does everything you need it to do for $50 a month. You don't have to go to the marketing professional at $800 or $850 a month. I think too often industrial companies are using Salesforce. And like I've said in other episodes, Salesforce is more of an enterprise solution. It's not something that's great for like 5 people, but HubSpot's the easiest to use, easiest to integrate, and it can grow with you as you grow. For sales, working with estimating, yes. If you're just getting started, if you have a small company, I could see you doing all that. The line I wouldn't want to have to cross is doing the sales, doing the estimating, and then also creating whatever it is. When I started this agency 6 years ago, I was literally doing everything. I didn't have my first employee or help for probably 6 to 9 months. So I was building the web, doing all the sales, running the business, doing all the project management. I did it all myself. And so eventually start getting people under you to take pieces of your responsibility off of your plate so you can look at bigger picture. That's usually the way to grow and scale a company. So I would say if your company is small, yes, that is normal. But I would want to try and make sure that there's a plan in place with the ownership or the bosses to make sure that that's not the long-term path that you're going to go down. All right, guys, we are back and we're going to go through the comments to see if we have any questions for Patrick or myself. So Nick, throw up any comments. Scarface06 says hi. That's quite a screen name. That's quite a screen name. So we got one from the viewers. Are there any FF hiring candidates that are too inexperienced or too, what is FF? Wonder what that means.
Maybe factory fix.
There you go. Factory fix hiring candidates that are too inexperienced or too experienced. Patrick, why don't you take that one?
Yeah, it really depends on the customer and what they're looking for. So what's cool about our algorithm, our scoring and vetting algorithm, is that depending on the job title, it'll grade candidates differently. So for example, if it's a general laborer position or something that's, entry level, it'll be much, it'll automatically adapt to care less about work history and experience and care much more about responsiveness and location and that sort of thing. And then the opposite is true for more skilled positions, like engineering roles or what have you. We'll grade much more strict on work history and industry experience and different machines and technologies. And so, yeah, it's kind of a difficult question to answer because it depends a lot on the customer and what they're looking for. But, we've built some software that accommodates for the variance in job titles.
Yeah, and I think also with that, it depends on what, maybe somebody's can't be too inexperienced to work with you guys, but does your end client have an apprenticeship program in place? Are they willing to promote from within and invest into their employees, right? So there's kind of got to be a fit on both sides.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, we're helping plenty of entry-level people with no experience find positions. But our goal is not only to find them that first job, but to also figure out what do they want that second job to be and then we'll help them navigate through the different skills that they need to learn in order to get that second job in a couple years. So yeah, the career coach element of our product is something that we're investing in heavily, not only to, upskill the people that are already in the manufacturing industry, but to get more people into the industry so that they can see there is a path here to having a career that's more lucrative.
Yeah, I mean that's great to hear because it's I mean again, it's like you're not just solving one problem, but you're forward thinking about okay, once they get in that job, like where are they going to go from there? Have they thought about those next steps, right? What does their career look like? Where do they want to advance to? I mean, those are questions that I feel like a lot of people don't think about, right? Like they're looking at the short-term solution. They're not thinking 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road, what do I want to be doing in this industry?
Yeah, and actually, I think companies, the employers themselves, have to do a better job of presenting these paths ahead of time, right? I think right now hiring's very reactive in the industry, where if you have a machine operator that quits, you just need to find a machine operator and plug that hole, and hopefully just kind of stays there forever, right? Instead of being more proactive about having career development paths for your employees and showing like, yeah, we're going to hire you today for this machine operator position, but in 2 years, you need to be ready to have a CNC setup position. And if you're not, then you're not like what we're looking for in that machine operator position today, because we want people to grow within the company. I think other industries do this a lot better than manufacturing, and it's kind of easier said than done for sure. But if you're intentional about putting those different paths in place, I think it can really help with recruiting for those entry level positions.
Yeah, I mean we see the same thing on the marketing side with clients that we work with. Like we'll have people that reach out to us and be like, we just lost some big contracts. We need sales, we need marketing now to replace that. Um, and it's the good clients that we have that understand like marketing and sales is something you always have to be doing. You always have to be thinking, even if you're at capacity now, something easily can change. They have to have that same mindset with their hiring process, right? Like something can change tomorrow. You can lose 2 programmers, 2 machinists, 2 automation people. And if you don't have that partnership in place to be able to say, let's start backfilling these positions, and we've got things set up already to start having some forward thinking about it, then it really puts people in a bind, right? And then they're in this problem, and it's a short term problem, right? And then so they're thinking short term solutions to that problem, which is just I need a body in that position now. So that's what I'm going to go out and do. Once that position is filled, I don't need to look at anything or think of anything until the next fire comes up that I have to put out.
Yeah, totally. I mean, recruiting is sales, right? There's no doubt about it. And not everyone looks at it that way, but we really should, right? You wouldn't have unnecessary friction in your sales funnel, right? You wouldn't make prospective customers wait, a couple days to hear back from you on a quote or something like that, right? So by looking at it that way, it should motivate you to really remove the unnecessary friction and make it as efficient as possible. Even looking at the top of the funnel, right? Like that is your marketing. You have inbound marketing from job posts. You have outbound marketing for like, the job video that you showed and raising awareness. And then once an applicant gets in, you need to go from application to interview if they are a good fit, really within 24, 48 hours. Because if you're not doing that today, you're going to have a hard time getting people to stick.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I love that analogy of looking at like hiring should be like sales, right? You don't want people to wait. I kind of feel like right now is like an employees market, right? Like there's so many people are looking for jobs, employees have the power to be able to be like, I don't want to do this anymore. I can go to one of these 12 companies because there is such a shortage, and they've got a little bit of the power. So if you're one of those companies that they're thinking about and you're just dragging your feet, and I understand, if you don't have a partnership like Factory Fix and you're the HR person, like you've got a million other fires that you're dealing with, right? And so like it could take you a couple of days to get back to people, but that instantly puts a bad taste in their mouth, right? And so they start to think, I'm assuming, like if it takes 2 days to respond to the initial, what happens once we get down the path and it's like offer time, right? Like how quick am I going to get an offer? How quick am I going to onboard me? When could I start? It's like that trickle down effect of just bad taste.
Yeah, no doubt. And you see, really try to make it as efficient as possible for job seekers to apply to a lot of jobs, right? Indeed, for example, after you apply to a job, it'll give you a list of, 10 other jobs exactly like this, and you can just click apply all. And so they're almost doing like the opposite of vetting, where they just, when you get an applicant in your inbox, they might not even know they applied for your job. They know nothing about your company. And so that's only one piece of the puzzle. Like you'll get applicants by posting to job boards, but there's steps beyond that you really have to fine tune in order to convert hires at a much higher level.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we wrap up this episode, Nick, I think there's one additional question that was private message to us. If you want to throw that up there. So what signs can we look for in a company to determine a need to rework our hiring process?
Oh man, that's a good question. I would say, one, I would look at conversion rate, right, throughout the different steps in the process. So one, how many applicants are you getting for your jobs? Two, how many interviews are happening from those applicants? And then three, like how many offers are you getting from those interviews? And then ultimately, how many people are hired and started? And you could really like track those metrics over time and see where the drop-off point is. And if the drop-off point is in interviews, for example, going from applicants to interviews, that's probably a sign that you're not acting on applicants quickly enough. So there's probably some unnecessary friction there. And really, for any of those steps, if one of those metrics looks off or looks low relative to the others, you can probably do some self-examination and see where are the unnecessary steps, where can we cut out some of this process and just make it more efficient.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. And then last question we've got, Nick, if you want to throw that up. So given the drought, should our company consider less ideal candidates with intent to train or advance them, or stick it out and wait for the right one?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think it really depends on the company and the position, right? Like if it's a machine operator position or CNC machinist position, you don't want underqualified or unqualified people messing with expensive machinery or critical manufacturing processes, right? So it's probably best to wait on those. But there's other positions like, general labor or assembler or things like that where, maybe you need to lower your standards a little bit in the short term, and find the folks that truly want to be there and truly want to learn and get trained. And so it's much more about interviewing for that rather than do they have the skills ready to go on day one. It's not really a concrete answer there, but I think it depends on the job title we're talking about.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree. Like it depends on the situation. What's the position you're looking for? Who is the company that is looking for the person? Like there's a lot of factors that go into it, but at least being open to both probably is a good way to look at that. Maybe sometimes you should wait for certain key positions, but it depends on what the need is, right? Like if you need somebody now, um, but you don't want them to injure themselves or injure somebody else, and you have to wait to meet those qualifications. But I feel like sometimes people are waiting for, like, in some positions in sales, marketing, things like that, they're waiting for like the best person. And while they're waiting and other people have come through the process, they're so hyper focused on one specific thing that they're looking for that they may miss somebody that's like a good solid B player that isn't a A plus star, but a B player that can turn into an A player with some mentoring, with some guidance, with some training. But they skip over them because they're just so hyper focused on filling the exact type of person that they're looking for.
Yeah, I mean that's why we're focused on getting young people into the industry that want to make a career out of it. And yeah, they're not going to be experienced day one, but if they want to be there and they know where they want to get to within your organization, I think that's more valuable than the person that's, may have some experience, but are just, hopping around looking for $1 an hour more. And our customers say this too. They say, like, we're totally willing to train. In fact, we think we can train people better than trade schools or other places. So just find me people that want to be here, that are going to show up every day, and that want to progress within the company. So, that's why there's work to be done on the high school level and the trade school level, and just getting more people into manufacturing.
Yeah, that's something that I always tell people whenever we're looking for somebody to add to the team. I'll take somebody with motivation and dedication over skills like every day of the week, right? Because that's something that you can't teach someone to be motivated, right? Either you're like that or you're not. Any skills can be taught on anything.
Definitely. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So, Patrick, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us and our audience. And anybody watching this on the replay, feel free to leave any comments as you're watching it. Everybody will be notified and we can jump in and answer those. So, Patrick, we're going to kick you out. We just did kick you out. We appreciate you. We appreciate you coming on to the show. And so, to close it out, if you guys got value out of this, share this with your HR department. Share this with anybody that you know in your company to bring some awareness around what Patrick is doing at Factory Fix and how they can help solve your problems. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We come out with content 2 times a week and doing 2 lives a week. So you can jump into those, turn on your notifications so you're aware and participate with the comments, and we will see you on the next one.